single parenthood is definitely not a walk in the park. Some people have the perception that single parenthood is a single parent has to think about school fees, has to think about feeding the child, has to think about school choices. These are very stressful things because it's determining the future of your child.
Yeah. Thankfully, in our part of the world, it is not strictly the case, even though we are also getting there. But for us, it's really very easy for, a single parent to say, okay, I need to travel, I need to do this. And then the next minute you have a cousin or a sister
coming in
or something, to cover up for you,
But funny you say that. Sorry to cut in, but these days these things don't happen. Amida, it is back
it's
then.
changing, like I said.
Society has changed so much.
I know.
It's even difficult to get like your sister or your aunt.
Yeah, because they are dealing with their own stuff too. Would you say that single parents are likely to neglect their own health? You are warmly welcome to Legal Social with me, Hamida Nuhu. On this podcast, we discuss legal and social issues with the aim to empower, enlighten, and educate the general public. I'm really happy you could be here today. You are warmly welcome once again, and I would appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me if you could like, comment, and share our videos. Thank you so much. On the podcast today, we are talking about a very pertinent issue. We're going to talk about single parenting. And this is where you have one parent instead of the two taking care of children. And to help us discuss this today, we have a health enthusiast. She's very much into what we all eat. Everybody's health is kind of like an issue for her. So she prescribes very, if you like, healthy recipes for us. So help me welcome Akua Boahemaa Boate.
Mepacho eye Boate.
Boate.
With an attitude. Boate.
What an introduction! You're welcome to
thank you,
Legal
Judah.
Social.
Thank you.
I'm so happy, you could make time because I know how busy you are.
Please, not too busy for you.
I know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we are going to be looking at single parenting. Which you have been able to do and you continue to do excellently.
Of course.
So I wanted to ask, first of all, whether you think is a jolly ride or is an uphill task. Is it difficult?
I think with a lot of women that I work with in my community, and together with, of course, myself, single parenthood is definitely not a walk in the park. It's a very difficult task. And I mean, being a parent or parenting a child, I don't think that it's something that one parent should do. I believe that it was designed for two people to do. So where you just have one person parenting a child, it's definitely a task and it's not an easy one at all. So yes, it's a very difficult task.
Right.
Yes.
And I know there are various circumstances that leads to, single parenthood. But would you say it is usually a choice or is a consequence?
And so I think it's both. Because I mean, today in today's modern world, you find some mothers or some women who will purposely go out to adopt a child or to even go to a sperm bank. And I actually know of a few mothers whom have gone to a sperm bank and had children from fathers that they don't know. So for them, it's a choice. And then for others, some others, I mean, some people are single parents because of, not necessarily, as a matter of fact, I think that some people have the perception that single parenthood is a marital status, but really it's not, because you can have somebody who's widowed, somebody who may even be married, but the other partner is living abroad, and that the parent who's raising the child is also a single parent. And then you can have, of course, somebody who has been separated, and they've actually been abandoned by the other parent. So yeah, it's neither here nor there. So it's a choice, and sometimes it's circumstances that may define that,
Right.
so to speak.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. And as someone in, if you like, the health space, would you say that there's a pattern, between single parent homes and then households where you have both parents? Is the stress pattern, because I know we all go through some level of stress. Would you say that the stress patterns in the single parents homes is more compared to where you have both parents?
So, I mean, I would say yes. In a single parent's home, it would definitely be more. However, having said that, you have married people, where you have two parents. And if the home is chaotic, if there's fire on the mountains in the house, I think that stress could equally be be equal to the person who's also running a single parent home.
Right.
So, for instance, a single parent has to think about school fees, has to think about feeding the child, has to think about school choices. These are very stressful things because it's determining the future of your child.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then you could have in a two-parent home where the parents are not even getting along. And so they cannot come together as one to make that informed decision
Right.
about the child. And that can be very stressful.
Absolutely.
But I always say that, look, being a parent, even whether single parent or, having a co-parent, I think that they both can be pretty much stressful. It's just that single parents, two heads are better than one.
I
isn't
know,
it?
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
We suffer.
a lot,
We suffer.
isn't it?
We suffer. But I
Yeah.
don't want to also throw light away from the homes that I know that there are some wives or some husbands who may be living together co-parenting, but they're also going through some difficult times.
Yeah.
And you have a single mother who is a single mother literally because the marriage isn't working or
Yeah.
the relationship isn't going very well. So I know of a lady in our community. So one of the things I've actually set up is an organization called Hair Rise, which really looks at empowering women. But predominantly, we're looking at single mothers.
Okay.
Because I can really relate to them. And some of the stories that we hear is actually from those who are married, living, co-parenting, and the challenges that they're facing in their homes without the support of their husbands. But you see, that is difficult because you'd look and think, say, oh, she has a husband.
Yeah.
So clearly,
Yeah.
everything should be okay.
But it's not.
But really, it's
Yeah.
not really what it seems.
Right.
And so, so those stresses, I think it can, there's a balance,
Right.
but predominantly, I think that single mothers
Go
definitely
through a
share
lot of stress.
a lot of stress. Hamida, imagine at 2 a.m., your toddler is literally vomiting,
Oh.
sick.
Yeah.
And you have to get up in the middle of the night
and
without
then drive them to
and
the
then
hospital.
drive them to the hospital. I remember there was one situation where there was a woman who was talking to me about some of her challenges, and she drove to the hospital. She had two young toddlers, and she had to wake the other one up because the other one is sick, had to drive to the hospital. And when they got to the hospital, the other person couldn't find they're trying to pull blood. They couldn't find the vein. And you can imagine
The stress.
the stress. But, if you have another partner there, at least they step in,
Yeah,
they
they're
comfort.
supporting
There is the
you.
comfort, there's the support. And so can you imagine how stressful
I know.
that would be? And
Yeah.
that definitely will take a toll on your
Definitely.
mental health, on your physical
Right.
health as well. And the stress is definitely it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. So, would you say that single parents are likely to neglect their own health, just so that they can do it all?
I mean, I don't think it's an intentional thing that single parents do. I don't think it's intentional. I just think that where you're so consumed
Yeah.
with being that single parent
Yeah.
and raising your child or children, you tend to focus about the children's well-being. And somehow, subconsciously, you neglect yourself.
Right.
I'll just share this really quickly with you. So when I had my girls, my two girls, Angel and Abby, bless them.
Beautiful girls.
Bless them. They drive me nuts.
I
but,
know.
What can you do? You can't do without them.
No.
But
They're a
I remember
blessing.
when I was growing up and when I realized, when reality really hit me that, listen, you're alone in this and you have to just get these girls, I had a certain lifestyle, and I think that I was blessed to have parents who gave me a great life. And so I have to match up that life. And that standard was quite high. And so I remember very early on as a single parent, I had to work so hard, Hamida. So
I know you
hard.
work too hard.
And I literally, like, we don't have a day off. Single mothers don't have days off.
No.
You
don't have the luxury.
You don't have that
to take
luxury.
a day off. Yeah.
And I remember I worked so hard. I think it was about 3 weeks straight. Now remember, you're a single mom because you have this mission, and you think you are superwoman, super mom. And I remember I did break down, and I broke down pretty badly.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I want to raise awareness in that community, where women need to look after themselves because you are that breadwinner for those children.
Yeah.
And when you're not there, then what happens? Having said that, no, we're talking about women. I know single parents is not just women. No, but,
Exactly. Some
but
men
it's
are
the
also
women
doing
who
this
are-
all by themselves.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's a lot more, we see a lot more with women than with men. Of course, I don't want to shift that away.
Yeah.
So the men, please forgive us. Forgive us. But and it did take a huge toll on me. And I think I was away for about 6 weeks just to get myself together. And so, yes, it does really affect the health.
Yeah.
And I think most single mothers or most single parents do neglect that.
Yeah.
Because what is ahead of them, their driving force or the thing that wakes them up every single day to go out is the children. And that is a huge reason to wake up and fight every day to make sure that you're providing for them.
Right.
You are doing the job
of two people. All
so
by
that's
yourself.
so that's what
double. Right. Wow. That's amazing. And it's interesting you also mentioned, men also being single parents. But you would realize that people or the society is more likely to praise single fathers as compared to single mothers. Why is that the case? It tends to be like it's very normal for a woman to be by herself and be looking after her children. That one, nobody is, giving you thumbs up, nobody is patting you on the shoulders. But once a man trust me, like, oh, they'll be gossiping. Hey, dude, that man, he's doing very well. No, he's just by himself, his wife, and he's the one thing. Why is that? Why do we tend to praise the men and we don't even recognize the women?
So I think it's a number of things. I think the one would be cultural conditionings or gender expectations. For instance, mothers are nurturing, mothers are the ones who are meant to do A, B, C. And so when a father does it, it's like such a big deal. Yes, most people would see a single father and definitely have so much empathy and sympathy. Whereas you'd see a single mother and they'll probably be wondering, what happened? Why is she a single mom?
I know.
What did she do?
Right.
Born one, born two. You realize
name
there's no
calling,
name calling.
Yeah.
I've never heard a man be referred to as born one, born two.
No.
But that's an example of society and how society perceive this whole single motherhood or single parenthood. And it's a shame that it shouldn't be perceived that way, because if men are being sympathized for being single parents, why shouldn't women equally feel, have that sympathy as well?
Right.
And so I just think that it's just culture.
Patriarchy. I mean, it's just everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And in everything.
It's everywhere. Men are expected to be men, and women are expected to be women. And therefore, when a man is doing what society perceive women to do, then it's like, oh, let's clap for the man. It's like the man is wow, this man is, can you see, he's a single father. Oh. But with women, it's usually not
business as usual. That's what you're supposed to do anyway. So like, why should we come singing praises and all that?
And that narrative needs to change, because
Absolutely.
women we go through so much.
I agree with that.
So why won't you sympathize?
I know.
With us?
Yeah.
Why? Sympathize with us.
I know.
Enough of.
I'm sure the people, watching us now, it would be some form of, if you like, awakening.
Yeah.
And then they tend to be more sympathetic towards single mothers.
And it's funny, when you talk about a single parent, majority of people would go straight to women.
Yeah.
Let's think about
that
it.
also, yes.
They are a single parent. Oh, sir, who is she?
And they wouldn't. That's right. They just automatically, like, it has to be a woman.
So that should tell you that women are we're going through a lot.
A whole lot. Absolutely.
We're going through a lot. And it's almost like a woman doesn't have a choice. When you have a child, that child is with you. If the man leaves you, what are you going to do with the child? The child is with you, especially when a woman is breastfeeding. The man disappears off, and I mean, you can't. What are you going to do with that child? So I believe that women are even forced into that position. We don't have a choice. So when you find a mother who is, for instance, abandoning their child, or it's almost, you think that person is insane. You think that there's something mentally.
Nobody would walk away from their children.
Exactly.
Unless it becomes absolutely necessary.
But it's easy for men to do that.
Yeah, very easy, really. Very easy, actually.
You see how we that look at the contrast. So it would be almost crazy for a mother to abandon their child.
Yeah.
But for men, it's not perceived that way. It's like, oh, it's normal,
Yeah.
He's moved on to
other things. I mean, there are some men, to be fair.
Of course.
Yeah,
there's some men, yes.
But generally,
yes,
they are the ones who can just
they're the ones.
They're
the ones who can
and
call
then
it
move
quits.
on with
But
their life.
and
then it's
you have to stick with it and work and
do what you've got to
survive
do.
and do what you have to do.
Yeah, in the best interest of the children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As someone who is so passionate about health, is there a rise in, if you like, issues with children's health in single homes compared to where you have both parents? It's whatever parents going through, is it translated into even how their children, eat? Are they healthy? Is there any connection?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that in any home, I think that the health of that relationship, the health between the parents or the parents, will definitely have an impact on children. it's not necessarily just their food or their diet, but their mental health.
Right.
There's a lady in Abusokai who has a daughter who has been neglected by her father. And unfortunately, this child, I mean, it's a single mom raising this child, and the child is just going through a lot of mental health challenges to the point where now the child is self-harming. So irrespective of how well that child is fed, maybe physically the child may be okay, but mentally they could have these challenges. And of course, that is talking about depression.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how well you put together a diet. It doesn't matter how health conscious a parent would be. For single parents, if you do have that absence and where the children are going through that neglect and that confusion
Yeah.
in the home,
Yeah.
depression leads to poor appetite.
Right.
So the child may not even eat well.
Right.
And as we know, and you know how passionate I am about food, when we eat, the nutrients in that food, the body must benefit from it.
Right.
And so if the child is not eating, then of course they're not really getting the necessary nutrients
Right.
that they need. And once they even have the good nutrients, it's even able to help them psychologically,
Yeah.
mentally, and so on and so forth. But generally, when we talk about health relating to single parents home and with both parents co-parenting, I think that it's really the health of the relationship. Because in my home, for instance, I mean, I'm a single mom, but I make sure that the children are eating right. You could have another home where you have two parents. They may be happy, jolly, but the children are not
Right.
necessarily eating
Right.
But so I think it's also being aware
Right.
and knowing a lot about health.
Right.
And Hamida, unfortunately, society, we educate our children about sex, about drugs, about poor choices in relationships, both friends and even boys and girls. But the last thing we actually educate our children on is health. And so I really want to use this platform to encourage people
Yeah.
to focus on educating their children
Right.
about health. Just as you talk to your children
Yeah.
about make sure you study well, make sure you build your career. Health is everything. So
Right.
without health,
The rest
you have
of it will
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And so back to your question, yes, looking at those two dynamics, the well-being or the health of how healthy a relationship is in a home
Yeah.
definitely has a direct impact on the children. But being a single parent isn't an excuse.
Right.
Because I've done it in my home, and I know you do it in your home too.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not an excuse not to help your children's health.
Right.
And we are responsible for our own health, but as parents, we definitely have that influence
Right.
on our children. And so yeah.
Just to add to what you said, I think also it depends on an individual. There are some people who are able to do this single parenting thing so well that you would even wonder whether they're doing it by themselves. Because what also happens is that sometimes when you have the two parents in the home, there can be a conflict even with regards to what a child is allowed to eat or not. Because then one parent would now be playing the favorable one, and the
Good cop,
other
bad cop.
good cop, bad cop situation. And then it makes things even more difficult.
Yeah.
So it's not, there isn't like a strict rule, that it is when it's the child is from a single parent home that they're not developing well or coming along the way they should, or when they are both parents. It really depends on the circumstances in the home, isn't it?
Yeah. The other thing is that you can be a single parent, but you can have a village helping you raise your children.
Yes.
So
Everyone
typically,
is behind you.
typically in my home, for instance, I remember recently I posted a video on TikTok and I decided to prank the family. So I pranked my mom, I pranked my brother, and I think one of my best friends. And the prank was very simple. Angel went to school, one of my daughters went to school, and she had bad grades. And she just called, and apparently, according to the script of the prank, my mom, my brother, and my best friend had to sign a form saying that she had failed a particular test. But the prank was, please don't tell mom about it.
Right.
Don't tell mom about it because I don't
Oh,
want.
I think I saw that.
You saw
and
that.
then Angel called her uncle. Yeah. I saw that.
They all failed miserably because nobody called me to tell me. But the moral of that whole situation was that I'm not raising them alone, even though I'm a single mother.
Right.
So it's good to have that support system.
Yeah.
And talking about health and diet and all of that. My mom is keen on making sure the kids eating vegetables, and my mom is anti-medicine. So every time I travel, I'm really concerned because let's say Angel has a headache or she's picked up something from school. So now I'm thinking my mom is not going to give her no medication whatsoever. My mom is going to grind ginger,
Which is good.
garlic. It's brilliant. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But we're not, it's not, it may not necessarily be enough depending on what the child is dealing
suffering
with.
from.
For instance,
Yeah.
my mom can have malaria. Amida, my mom has malaria and she would never take malaria pills, and she would cook everything under the sun to heal herself, and it works for her.
Wow.
But please don't try that on my
I know,
child.
right?
Because maybe her immune system is different. But the point is that that's also another support system that I have. So yes, single parenthood, you could be doing things, of course, predominantly yourself.
Yeah.
But building that village of people around you
It's
where,
important.
can also help you in raising them.
Yeah. Right.
Especially in relation to that health question
Yeah.
that you asked.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's also very dependent on the kind of society. There are some places where nuclear family system, it's so central that for some people it's just the couple and their children.
Yeah.
Mostly to the exclusion of all others. So in an unfortunate situation where the relationship breaks up, it just becomes that one parent and then the children. But thankfully, in our part of the world, it is not strictly the case, even though we are also getting there. But for us, it's really very easy for, a single parent to say, okay, I need to travel, I need to do this. And then the next minute you have a cousin or a sister
Coming
or
in.
something, to cover up for you,
But funny you say that. Sorry to cut in, but these days, these things don't happen. Amida, it is back
it's
then.
changing, like I said.
Society
Yeah,
has
but
changed so much.
I
and
know.
it's even difficult to get like your sister or your aunt.
Yeah, because they are dealing with their own stuff too. Absolutely.
Whereas back in the day, you
like
can bring somebody from the
yeah,
village.
without prior notice, and then like, Amber, can you come? And then they are already
And they are here.
Yeah.
I asked my mom to help me with the children, just bath them. when they were babies, mom said, bath them, say,
Go and do
get
your
somebody
thing.
to come.
I've done my own, bathing
I'm
you
calling
and
you out,
everyone
Mom.
else.
But yeah,
Right.
society has really changed.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
these days it's difficult to get families come and stay with you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there, but these days it's not that easy.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So taking it more to the society in general, would you expect or would you require of governments to draft policies in terms of single parent paying taxes so that there's a more favorable system for them compared to where there's a household with both parents, would you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it would help a
Absolutely.
lot, wouldn't it?
I think that would help greatly. I think this is something that we're definitely lacking in our system here in
Yeah.
Ghana. And mothers raise children. We nurture these children, and these are children who become leaders in our country. And so I definitely think that the government can help out. Some of these taxes, like building affordable homes and helping some of these mothers or fathers, single fathers, with housing.
Yeah.
For instance, in Europe and other parts of the world, look at what the governments do.
Yeah.
They even milk.
Yeah.
Milk.
Child
In the
support
UK,
is so huge
child
in some
support.
places. Yeah.
Some have grants, tax credit
Yep.
and child benefits and all those things that the government do there. I think when they bring that to our system, it will make Ghana a better place. I mean, last month, Hair Rise, we went out and we gave money and food and we met some single mothers, and Amida, it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. And, it was even sad because there's so much we can do. There's so much an organization can do. There's so much you can do. But a nation can change that narrative. So helping single mothers, setting them up. There's a lady we met, she sells eggs, carries eggs every day. Her profit just little. So it's literally hand to mouth. So when she's sick, her children don't eat. What can the government do about that? These are children who are going to grow up and become people in our nation.
Yeah.
Presidents, doctors, lawyers, help us run our country so that better Ghana. So
Right.
definitely, I think the government can definitely do something
lot.
about it.
Give them
Maybe
some
it may not be in
reprieve.
our generation, but they
One
should-
day, one day, it would
one
happen.
day. A journey of 1,000 miles
Begins with the
single-
first step, they say.
So
Right.
they should help.
Right.
They should help.
Yeah. Akua, you are running, pretty much your own business. I mean, you're the CEO
Yeah.
for food pharmacy. So
Yeah.
your schedule is quite flexible. So, but would you say that strict corporate life is favorable for a single mother? For instance, if you have a single mother working in a bank, what are your thoughts? Would it be easy because you have to report at a certain time, close at a certain time? Your child has to be in school, or your children would have, all of that. Does corporate life favor?
I think, in my
single
opinion, I
parent?
think it would be very difficult. As you said, I run my own company, food pharmacy.
Yeah.
And, there are times you may have to run out because of emergencies. You have to, maybe there's a school program you need to attend. And remember, you're a single parent. And so you need to make sure that you are in those school recitals and, to be there, to be present.
Yeah.
Daddy can't come or mommy can't come. That's terrible on the child.
Yeah.
And so imagine you're in the corporate environment. What do you do? I mean, I employ people. I have workers in my office. So I can't imagine my customer services person coming up and say, "Oh, madam, my daughter is having a school recital. Let's say she has 3 kids."
Exactly. How
And-
many is she going to do in a term?
Exactly.
At the
So
expense of the
you
work.
can imagine that if you are in that corporate world,
Yeah.
that would be very difficult. It would be difficult as a single parent, whether it's a single father or a single mom. That would be difficult as compared to a single mother who's running her own business. So please run your own business.
That's also not easy.
It's also not- I mean, it's not, but
yeah,
if
you can
you're
always start
comparing-
small, right?
If you're in that comparison, definitely, if you're a single mom running your own business, it's a lot easier
Yeah,
as
for
compared to
you.
working in corporate. And what are you going to do? That means, imagine your child is in hospital for 3 days. You have to take a 3-day leave.
From work.
Or it's much difficult in my
Right.
opinion,
Right.
as compared to running your own business as a
Doing
single
your
parent.
own thing.
Yeah, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Akua, there are times when people choose to, I mean, they plan their parenthood. They get married, children start coming. But these days a lot is changing now. You also have people who casually would just decide that we want to be parents or we want to have a child, and then they go ahead and they have children. What would be your expectation in case there is some form of protection, like we spoke about, some tax reprieve, from government? Should there be a differentiation between parents who plan parenthood as compared to those who casually decide to
So
have
I don't think
children?
I understand the question very well.
Right.
Are you talking about society supporting
Absolutely. So I'm saying that should society give more support to parents who have planned parenthood as opposed to those who do it casually?
absolutely not. Because
A parent is a parent.
a parent
It doesn't matter
it
the
doesn't
circumstance.
matter.
Right.
A parent is a
Right.
parent. Just
Right.
because you have planned to have, to have a child, it doesn't mean you need more support as
Than
to
the
the
one
other
who-
person who hasn't planned. And
Right.
and it's just happened.
Right.
The baby's just happened.
Right.
I however think that those who are underprivileged should rather be the ones we support.
Right.
Should rather be the ones that society should support. I mean,
Right.
if you're doing well and you have a well-structured home, you have, both parents who are doing okay.
Right.
Why do you need that support? Exactly
Right.
what support do you need? It's more for single mothers who
Right.
are struggling.
Yeah.
Or single fathers who are struggling. I
Right.
think they're the ones that really need the support.
Right. I mean, that's a very brilliant answer, because a child is a child. And most of the time, when we are asking for support for the parents, it is so that it will translate into some relief or a more comfortable life for the child. So which is why if you were to discriminate against the parents, whether they plan or they did not, then eventually it would go to the child who does not deserve or who should not be discriminated against.
I think we should be generous in our society. There are people who don't necessarily need the money. My word there is need.
Yeah.
Not want. They are two very different things. There are other single parents that need the support.
Right.
Without that support, they cannot survive.
Yeah.
And they're literally surviving by the day, and the children suffer it. So if there's support that we can give those people, why not? So the government should also help those who are the uneducated, the illiterates, the kayayus. They're the ones having children here left, right, and center because they don't understand even how their bodies work. They're being raped. There's a lot happening, bringing children into the world. And so if our government, if society is able to put systems and structures together in place to really help prevent some of these things, educating people, going around, making people as scapegoats. If you rape this person, this is what's going to happen, and so on and so forth. I think that would make society a better place. Personally, that's what I think.
I'm enjoying this very much. And I was just smiling in my head and then thinking, what would be Akua's opinion on, whether men should have a say in pregnancy decisions if they are ready to bear some child support obligations. The reason I'm asking is because there are some men who from scratch they know that I'm not going to be a part of this.
Yes.
But there are also some of them who, would be ready and they would actually prove to you, that I'm ready to, take care of my obligations in this relationship.
Yeah.
Should those, be part of decision making in pregnancy?
Absolutely not.
Really?
I'm joking. No, let's get serious.
I know
serious.
they should, right?
Yes, I think they should.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I
no,
think so
they
too.
should. They should. But here's the thing. You have a man who, has gotten a woman pregnant. The child is born, and the man has neglected the child. Okay. One thing I would say about this particular thing is for some kind of system to hold that man accountable. I think a lot of times these men, they misbehave, pa. Because they misbehave because they're not held accountable. For instance, in the US, you cannot have a child and not be
look after
responsible
them.
because you go to jail.
Yeah.
You will pay child support.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about that is it's based on your earnings. So if you're earning 6 figures, that woman is going to get that.
Yeah.
So yes, men should have that say, but it's so sad that I can't really give you statistics, and I don't want to do that because I'm
Yeah.
not qualified to do
For
that.
that. Right.
But in my own circle, in my community, the people that I have worked with, a lot of the times, these men who even have says in the childbirth, in the pregnancy, in building that family, they disappear.
they do.
Having said that, it's not to say that that man does not have a say.
Okay.
Definitely not. But it's to put some kind of system in place, Hamida, because to make sure that these men are held accountable. You can't have children and abandon them.
Yeah.
It is, aside the woman that they think they are punishing, which they are, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But the person that suffers the most is the child. It's the children.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
Yeah, I agree with you, because for instance, you see DOSU, domestic violence and, child support unit of the police and all that. I mean, I have dealt with clients who have chased or gone after,
The fathers.
They got tired and they just
Let it go.
Because it can also be another form of stress for
Absolutely.
you. So for a woman who is able to hold it together, they just decide that, lawyer, it's okay, let them go.
Yeah.
But I believe that, and I agree with you, if there are really very strict and strong rules that would make sure that people get punished for abandoning their children, they definitely would do better.
I personally know somebody in America, right, who isn't happy about paying child support. They're not happy about it.
But they do it.
But they do. Because they have to do it.
Otherwise, the law would come after you.
You made that
You would
child.
go to jail.
And just listening to you, and let me just ask you this question. I know it's your podcast, but I want to ask you this question.
Absolutely.
How many times have you dealt, and I want to prove a point, how many times have you dealt or heard that DOSU is going after the woman? How many times would you, as compared to the men?
Well, that's a very good question.
It's a good question, isn't it?
It is.
Would you say there's a balance, or would you say there's more going after men than the women?
Actually, it's mostly going after men.
That's
And
the point.
It is because they are always the ones running away.
I didn't want to say it, but I wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
And so there's got to be a system where men are held accountable, or in women. I mean, if a woman does that, they're weird. For a woman to do that, it's out of the norm. It's almost like a norm for men to do that, but it's not a norm for women to do that. But they must be held accountable.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, Hamida, if the government decide to do this thing, it will not happen.
It won't happen again, right?
I'm telling you, it wouldn't happen.
I agree.
So I honestly think that these are things that should be put in place. It will be steady, and Ghana will be a better place.
Absolutely.
And men will now start thinking
We
when
can
they
treat
have
these
to.
people better. We can take care of our children.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Akua, co-parenting, I mean, after separation, is it realistic or is idealistic?
Oh, it's absolutely realistic. I mean, you decide to go your separate ways and you decide to co-parent. I know many, many people who are co-parenting, and it works perfectly well for them. It would be great if the couples or if the parents are in good they have a good relationship because it helps to raise the children much, much better. But ideally, I mean, you never know where your relationship would lead to, but where there are children involved, co-parenting is so realistic. I know of some co-parents that, I mean, even Christmas, they come together. I think Christmas 2024, no, Christmas 2023, I was in the UK and I went to visit a family friend and he's co-parenting his kids and his ex-wife came. Listen, it was a blast. And I was just looking at both of them and I just thought it was so beautiful. And so, yes, it's realistic, but it's a choice that the parents have to make. And the choice is we are raising these kids and we have to make a choice just to make it work by getting along. They don't have to be friends, but they have to just get along and just raise the kids. So, yes, it is very much realistic.
Right.
But then again, it depends on how bad the divorce.
Absolutely. I know. And
some of them it doesn't hurt at all.
And sometimes even, I mean, apart from the couple or the ex-couple, if we can call them that, you know, there are also other parties or partners now, you know, for instance, that are not, you know, getting along. Someone feel like, okay, you know, this is my ex-wife and now her husband, I don't like the way, you know. So I think it also comes with its own
it has its own problems, but I think it's all on the individuals. If you build if you build your current relationship well enough and you let your partners understand the dynamics of your relationship with your ex-partner and you have boundaries, I don't think
they would be respected.
I think it has to be respected. And where a person doesn't respect that, then they have their own issues, jealousy, insecurity, and those are things that, you know, personal to them. But once as a parent who has gone through divorce or separation, it is your duty to let the other person know the importance of your relationship with your ex-partner.
Right.
Because it's for the betterment of the children. You know.
Absolutely.
So that's
right.
So that's that.
Yeah. Akua, you are very much out there. I mean, like social media. You are not.
By the way, it's my getaway place. Oh, how hard I work. I mean, if I don't do that, I'll go mental.
I mean, and I like that. I absolutely love that, you know, because I mean, let everyone have fun. We all deserve to be happy.
And it's also my moment to spend with the children and they love it. And, you know,
it's beautiful.
They really enjoy it. And it's our moment.
Yeah.
It's our moment. Yeah.
So, do you think that modern independence, you know, has kind of like made single parenting more visible? Do you think so?
That modern independence,
you know, because now people before, I mean, for instance, of course, if you were a single mother, for that matter, a single parent, people would not be so comfortable to even, you know, let others know that this is
the stereotyping. Yes.
But right now, would you say that women are so independent to the point that like they pretty much like, I don't give a toss.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. But you know, it's funny you say that. I had one of my uncles reach out to me, and if he's watching this, I'm sorry, I won't mention you. Forget him. And he was just having a go at me. Why are you on social media? Why are you out there? Why are you sharing this? And I said to him, I said, you know what, uncle? We don't go through things to hide them under our beds and our pillows and stuff. Do you know the lives that could be changed? Even if it's just that one life, that makes me happy. And so I think nowadays people are more outspoken, people are more out there, whereas before, you know, being a single parent was like, it's a shame.
Yeah.
You're looked down upon.
Yeah.
If you're divorced, it's like, there's a stereotype that's surrounding that.
Yeah.
And, you know, all that narrative is changing because we are changing. Society is changing and we must change together with it.
Right.
And so, yes, I believe that a lot more people are, for lack of a better word, comfortable in their current skin.
Right.
I'm definitely comfortable.
I can see that.
Definitely comfortable. And it doesn't make me any less of a mother or any less of a woman. It actually shows strength.
Yep, it does.
It shows resilience.
It does.
And it is that strength and resilience that I want other mothers, other single mothers, whether you're single, whether you're a mom, you know, to be able to be inspired by that they can also achieve greatness in that area. I'm definitely not better than them. I'm simply doing something that they are not doing.
Right.
And that's all that there is. You know.
Wow. Okay. So we shouldn't end this discussion without an attempt at defining single parenting. What does that mean, or how would you describe that, Ikea?
So, just as I said before, there is that perception that single parenting is usually associated with marital status. But being a single parent, or my definition or interpretation of single parenthood, is one person being solely responsible for the upbringing of their child or children. So it could be somebody who is divorced and has custody of the children.
Right.
Somebody who is widowed definitely is doing it on her own. Somebody, like I mentioned before, even co-parents, people who have maybe shared custody,
Right.
but there's one person who's doing a lot more
Right.
than the other person. That person is a single parent.
Right.
Or even married people who have a long distance marriage.
Right.
You know,
they
the
don't
pers-
live in the same
they don't live in-
jurisdiction. Yeah, you mentioned
Exactly.
that
They don't
earlier
live
as
in the
well.
same jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But the person who has the child is that single parent.
Right.
So it's not necessarily associated with your marital status. Oh,
Right.
she's divorced, she's born one, born
Right.
two, and all
Right.
of that. Not necessarily that, because you can
Yeah.
have married people who may be single parents, or
Right.
even those living in the same household.
Right.
But one parent is just a bum.
Yep.
And
They,
has
they
left all
just
that
they're there physically,
and
but
left
they
all that
don't do
responsibility.
anything
Absolutely.
on one person.
Absolutely. So
Right.
that's my definition. So
like that.
talking
It's
about
broad
school
enough.
fees and the child's feeding, the child's health, it's solely on one person,
Parent.
which shouldn't be so.
Absolutely not. Wow, this is brilliant. Now we've come to. I know we've been having fun really,
Ah,
but now we've come to a more fun aspect of the podcast where we talk about whether a statement is either a myth or is a fact.
oh, okay.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Mother automatically get custody of a child or children. Is it a myth or is it a fact?
Yeah.
You see? You thought it was so easy. Now you're thinking
That's
about
not-
it.
Wow. So is it it's a myth?
Or is the fact that
I-
automatically when there's
I
a
think,
separation?
I think it's a myth.
Yep.
I think it's a myth, because what if the mother isn't mentally sound or
Exactly.
financially sound
Right.
to raise that child? So
Right.
I would say it's a myth.
It is a myth because I mean the custody of children also
Yeah.
is given based on the
well-being of the
welfare of the child. So the one that
Exactly.
is in a position.
So that's a
to-
myth.
Yep, absolutely. You know you're brilliant. Now the next one is co-parents are not single parents. Is it a myth or is it a fact?
Based on what I just said, is a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're just co-parenting, but they are not.
What if one person has 30% responsibility and the other person has, more of the 70% of that responsibility? The other one is a single parent,
Right.
because they're doing more.
Good. Okay. Third one. If a parent remarries, maintenance stops.
How?
Fact or myth?
How?
That's
No,
the biggest
it's
myth
that's
you
the
have ever heard.
It's the biggest myth. How?
Yeah.
You don't
Okay.
stop being a parent.
I know, right?
You don't
Yeah,
stop being
yeah,
a parent.
yeah.
So yes, that's a myth
Okay.
right there.
All right. So the last one for you, you need to think about this.
Okay, let me
And
let me
think
get mine.
about all the jurisdictions that you've been.
Okay.
UK,
That's a lot
US,
of-
Ghana.
that's a lot of jurisdictions.
So
Okay.
think about all of
Okay.
them before you answer.
Answer this one. Okay.
Moving abroad frees one from child support obligations.
Okay.
Moving abroad.
Uh-huh.
So let's say child support is huge in America.
Yes.
So if somebody decide to leave the jurisdiction of America and let's say they come to Ghana or the UK, does it free them from child support? Are they still required to provide?
So now my answer to that would be a question. Does it seize them from being a parent?
Okay.
That's my question.
Right.
And if the answer is no, then it's a myth.
Okay.
Because think about it. Just because you have moved one child from one jurisdiction to another doesn't mean that the child doesn't eat, doesn't have medical care, doesn't have education. So that, I mean, yeah.
Yes. And so I think that what I would add is that it can be
Both
a
ways.
little bit of,
How?
because
In what sense?
because in some places, where the I wouldn't say that there's no child support here in Ghana, but we don't have it like in the US, where you must necessarily, the system is in place. You can't run away
Mandatory.
from it.
It's mandatory.
And it would happen.
Yeah.
It's not with you.
Yeah.
The government would come
After you, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not strictly like that here.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really, so that's why I said it's a bit of,
But
both.
the point I'm making is that irrespective of where your child is, if you're in a relationship, marriage, and the marriage breaks down and the person decides to move to another place to have a better life, how does that stop you from your parental responsibilities?
Yes. So where it might stop or help you not continue to pay is where you move from the jurisdiction that enforces the law to the latter.
Interpol
one
must
that
get
is-
involved in this one. Interpol must be part of
Right,
this.
but that's where the trick lies.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you get where I'm coming
I
from?
do,
Like,
yeah,
how
absolutely
does
get
that,
you.
How does
Yeah,
that
but
stop?
some places can make it more easy, for people to check their responsibility and just.
I
Do
understand
you see
that.
what I mean?
I understand that.
Yeah.
And those people, and by the way, if you're a single parent and you have somebody who's not taking responsibility, I'm telling you, God will deal with them.
Amen.
Amen.
We do that all the time, isn't
Inshallah.
it? Yeah. Once you leave
God
it
will
in
deal
God's
with them.
hands,
Yes,
absolutely,
because
then
it's not
everything-
it's
Yeah.
really unfair. And I
Absolutely
understand the
is.
other partner thinks that they are punishing the other partner. Yes, they are, but the children suffer the most.
Yeah, and eventually, karma, it would catch up with you.
The children
whatever you
suffer
do.
the most. They
Yeah.
really do.
Akua,
Hamida.
thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I've
really
had a lot of
enjoyed-
fun.
It's been so wonderful. We should do it again. We
We should
can think about
we
something
should.
else.
We
and
should.
then-
I would love to.
Yeah.
I'll make time for you, my
Right.
girl.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
being
having
here.
me.
Thank you.
Thank
All right
you.
then. Bye bye.